Welcome to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? When you really want to say something in English, but maybe the words get stuck or suddenly you just feel really nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty common.
We've all been there. So today we're taking a deep dive into something I think is really transformative.
Yeah.
Speaking English with confidence and clarity. And this isn't just about, vocabulary lists. It's about unlocking your actual voice. Our mission here is to give you practical strategies, yes, but also a whole new mindset, really designed to build that solid speaking confidence.
Exactly. And I think that's what's so great about this deep dive. We're not just like throwing tips out there.
Right.
We're actually extracting these really actionable techniques, some surprising insights too, straight from the source material you sent over.
Right.
The goal really is a fundamental shift, how you approach speaking English, moving beyond just knowing the rules to actively overcoming those internal barriers, that little voice inside.
The inner critic. That often stands between you and just speaking confidently. It's almost like a guided training program, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I found really compelling about this source is how incredibly practical it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't just say what to do, it tells you how, step by step, building confidence from the inside out. Okay, so let's unpack this then. Yeah. Because before we even get to the words, the speaking part, the source starts with something really foundational.
The mindset.
The right mindset, exactly. It gives us 5 simple, but honestly incredibly powerful permission statements. First one, I give myself permission to speak. Just imagine saying that. Then my English does not need to be perfect. Cool, what a release that is.
Huge.
Following that, speaking confidently is a skill I can practice every day, so it's learnable. And this one, I think, is key for growth. Mistakes are proof that I am learning.
Right. Reframing mistakes.
Totally. And finally, maybe the most important one, my voice matters.
What's so fascinating here, I think, is how these aren't just, fluffy affirmations. They are direct challenges to those common psychological roadblocks that learners run into.
Yeah.
It's not magic. It's actively reframing your internal chat, right? When you actually give yourself permission to speak, even if it's not perfect, you immediately lower the stakes.
Right. Less pressure.
Less pressure. And that reduces what psychologists call the cognitive load, basically the mental effort your brain's putting in.
Okay.
Suddenly your brain has more space, more capacity to actually focus on forming the words instead of battling all that self-doubt.
That makes so much sense. It's like clearing the clutter off your desk before you start working.
Exactly.
And once that mental path is, a bit clearer, the source pivots. It goes to its first practical speaking goal. Clarity over speed.
Important distinction.
It lays out 3 core speaking goals. I can speak English calmly, then I can speak English clearly, and finally I can speak English confidently. And the recommendation is specific. Say each one 5 times slowly, then 3 times at a more natural speed.
Yeah.
Like a deliberate invitation to just slow down, breathe, and really focus on the quality of each word, not just, rushing to get it out.
Yeah. Right. Not just speed.
Okay, so here's where it gets really, really interesting. We're diving into the tangible stuff, the physical practice. The source actually calls this section mouth training word-by-word control.
Mouth training. I like that.
Yeah. The core idea is incredibly simple, but I think profoundly effective.
Yeah.
You're physically training your mouth, your lips, your tongue to articulate each sound slowly and clearly.
Like physical exercise.
Exactly. Like doing reps at the gym, but for your English-speaking muscles. And the source gives this set of powerful practice sentences that brilliantly double as positive affirmations.
Oh, nice.
So you get sentences like, I'm learning English every day. My English gets better when I speak out loud. I speak even if I feel nervous. Love that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Speaking is how I grow stronger. And I don't wait for perfect. I practice now.
Okay. Practical and positive.
And the specific method, this word-by-word slow practice, involves saying each word completely on its own. Literally, I, pause, am, pause, learning, and so on. Very. Before you say the full sentence 3 times.
Yeah.
And those 3 times have this built-in progression. First slowly, then at a sort of normal pace, and then finally with confidence.
Right. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this kind of really deliberate word-by-word focus builds crucial muscle memory in your mouth. Your tongue, your lips, your jaw. They actually learn the precise movements needed for English sounds, almost like automatically over time.
Like playing an instrument.
Exactly, like practicing scales slowly before you play a fast piece. This method, it systematically breaks down what feels like an overwhelming task, speaking into these really manageable chunks.
Right.
It gives your mouth and your brain the time they need to sync up.
Yeah.
It's actually a surprisingly efficient way to get clarity faster.
Okay, so from physically training your mouth, the source then moves on to introduce self-talk scripts, which is pretty much what it sounds like.
Yeah.
You're talking to yourself in English, maybe imagining you're looking in a mirror.
Yeah.
It's a safe, completely private space to build up that internal confidence.
Low stakes practice.
Totally. There's a short script provided. Good morning. Today I will speak confidently. I will not be afraid to talk. I will try, even if I feel shy. I can speak English. I can learn. I will ask questions if I don't understand. I will keep going. I am doing well.
That covers a lot.
Yeah, and the instruction is repeat it 3 times. Slower, calmly, and then strongly. The power is really in internalizing those messages, right?
Absolutely, making them your own.
It also gives a longer self-talk script. And this one I felt really zeroes in on patience and cultivating self-pride in your learning journey, which is so important when progress feels slow sometimes.
I need that patience.
Yeah. It goes, hi, I'm training myself.
Yeah.
I want to be better at speaking English. I know it takes time. I know it takes courage, but I'm ready to grow. I don't need to rush. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to try again and again. I'm speaking now, and I'm proud.
Oh, I like that ending, and I'm proud. That's powerful.
Isn't it? Okay, so now let's pivot a bit. We've built this internal foundation, train the mouth. How do you actually apply that confidence in, real life interactions?
Right, the application.
So our source introduces vocabulary confidence boosters. And the key here isn't just memorizing words. It's about using them in a way that actively builds your confidence as you do it.
Okay, how does that work?
The structure is beautifully simple, very actionable. I feel confident when I verb in English.
Ah, okay. Linking the feeling to the action.
Exactly. And the examples given are all about common, everyday situations you'll actually face.
Yeah.
I feel confident when I introduce myself in English. I feel confident when I order food in English.
Your practical stuff.
Yeah. I feel confident when I ask for help in English. And I feel confident when I say thank you in English. You're meant to repeat each one 3 to 5 times, really focusing on that feeling your voice getting stronger.
This section really underscores the critical importance of practical application. What's insightful here is how these phrases are designed almost like confidence anchors.
Confidence anchors. I like that.
Yeah, they link that positive feeling, I feel confident, directly to a specific manageable action like ordering food.
Yeah.
By successfully doing these small common things, you're building this mental library of successful speaking experiences.
Right. Proof that you could do it.
Exactly. And that fuels greater confidence for the next, maybe more complex interaction. It's like scaffolding your success, one small win at a time.
That makes perfect sense. Translating internal work into external wins.
Yeah.
And building right on that, the source gives us real-life speaking confidence phrases.
Okay.
These are truly crucial for those moments when you feel stuck, when the words just aren't coming, or maybe you just need a second to think. Think of them like your conversational life raft.
Your safety net phrases.
Exactly. Or your cheat sheet for tricky spots. It wisely categorizes them by situation too. So for starting a conversation, you've got simple things like, hi, how are you today? Or, excuse me, can I ask you something? And sorry, do you speak English? Basic, but essential.
Essential tools.
Then, if you need someone to repeat something, I'm sorry, could you say that again? I didn't catch that. Can you repeat it? And this one's great. I'm learning English. Can you speak a little slower?
Oh, that's a really useful one. Gives context.
Totally. And for those times you just don't know a word, it suggests, what does word mean? Or, can you explain that word? And I don't understand that word. Can you help?
Simple, direct requests.
And the practice method here is interesting. Practice in loops. Say each sentence 5 times with a calm tone. The brilliance is just having these ready, like in your back pocket.
Right. Reduces the panic.
Instantly reduces that moment of panic in a real conversation. It lets you manage the interaction gracefully, even if you're not, perfectly fluent yet.
Yeah, it gives you control back.
Now, let's be honest though. Sometimes the biggest hurdle isn't actually knowing the words.
It's the nerves.
It's the nerves, that universal tight feeling in your chest, right?
Yeah.
Our source directly tackles this with a section called Confidence Under Pressure When You Feel Nervous.
Good. Needs addressing.
Yeah. It offers these powerful affirmations specifically for those moments of anxiety. Again, emphasizing slow, deliberate repetition. It's okay to feel nervous, just accepting it.
Right, normalizing it.
Then I can feel nervous and still speak. Huge. And I don't need to be perfect, I just need to try.
This really brings up an important question, though. How do we actually decouple that feeling of nervousness from the act of speaking? Because they feel so linked.
I really do.
The source provides a fantastic strategy here. And imagine this scenario practice. Essentially a lower stakes rehearsal in your mind.
Okay, like visualization.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Your brain, interestingly, can't always tell the difference between a real situation and one that's vividly imagined. So by practicing these scenarios mentally, you're actually building new neural pathways. Pathways that associate speaking English with success, not fear. You're effectively kind of desensitizing yourself to the pressure in a safe way.
That's brilliant. You're building mental muscle memory for handling the pressure itself. And the source gives you a specific scenario to work with. Imagine you're in a shop, you need to ask for help. And it provides the specific lines to practice for that situation. It takes me, I'm learning English, could you help me? Then, I'm looking for this item. Do you have it? And finally, thank you for your help, I appreciate it. Simple interaction.
Very practical.
And the instruction. Repeat these 3 to 5 times, but actively focus on switching your voice to sound more natural each time. Really embody that confidence as you practice.
Right, practice sounding confident.
Exactly. And then the source moves to the final, and I think crucial section of this whole confidence building routine, reflection plus progress practice.
The reflection piece, often missed.
So often missed. But it's not just an afterthought here. It's presented as integral to actually cementing your learning.
Yeah.
It starts with these out loud statements for reflection. Today, I practice speaking. Just acknowledging it. I trained my brain to speak clearly. Even if it's slow, I am growing. And every word I speak builds confidence.
Reinforcing the effort and the progress.
Yes. And then it presents these crucial self-assessment questions and explicitly tells you to speak your answers out loud.
Oh, speak them, not just think them.
Speak them.
Yeah.
This isn't passive journaling, it's active vocalization of your learning process. The questions are, how did I feel when I spoke today? What was easy? What was hard? And importantly, how will I keep going tomorrow?
Looking for.
Yeah. And the source really emphasizes, speak your answers. Let the words come. No pressure.
You know, that reflective step is absolutely vital for making this sustainable. Think of it like a sports team reviewing game footage.
Good analogy.
Consistent self-assessment lets you spot your own personal patterns, celebrate those small wins you might otherwise just forget about.
Yeah, those are important.
And crucially, adapt your approach for next time. It transforms every single practice session, every attempt, into a deliberate learning opportunity. It ensures that your journey towards English confidence is continuous, it compounds, and it's deeply personalized to you. That's really how you turn the effort into a lasting skill.
So, quite a journey we've taken here. From building that resilient mindset and literally training your mouth.
Right.
To confidently using new vocabulary in real life, and even having strategies for navigating those inevitable nerves, all topped off with that essential self-reflection. It really feels like a complete framework.
It really does. What this deep dive into the material you provided shows us, I think, is that building confidence in speaking English isn't really a destination you arrive at. It's a continuous, active process.
Ongoing.
And the source itself kind of hints at this, right? By suggesting this is just the beginning. It mentions there are endless ways to continue structured practice things, like exploring more practice questions, maybe hour-long speaking loop drills.
Wow.
Engaging in specific confidence-building speaking games, or even diving into advanced repetition exercises that might be tailored for different learning styles. The real insight, I think, is that your English-speaking confidence, it's truly something you build day by day, word by word, just by showing up for yourself and doing the work.
Showing up for yourself, I like that.
Yeah.
So, thinking about everything we've unpacked today, what stands out to you, the listener? Maybe it's just one of those permission statements, or perhaps a specific phrase for asking for help, or even just the idea of practicing in front of a mirror. We really encourage you. Take just one piece of advice or one phrase from our discussion today and actually try it out. Speak it out loud as soon as you can. Make it real.
Yeah. Take that first step.
Speaking English, not just correctly, but with real confidence and clarity.
It's that gap between knowing the language and actually feeling comfortable using it, right?
Exactly. We've all got the grammar books, the word lists, but maybe the secret isn't just more stuff to learn. Maybe it's about how we let ourselves speak.
That's a great way to put it.
So we're diving into this really fascinating training guide today. It's called Speaking English, Confidence and Clarity Training.
Right.
And our mission here is basically to pull out the most practical, the most actionable bits from this guide to give you a kind of shortcut, to feeling more comfortable, more powerful when you speak English.
Finding those surprising little techniques that maybe go against the grain a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Things you can use right away. Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's figure out how to really own that English voice.
Sounds good.
So the first thing that really jumps out, and it's kind of counterintuitive maybe, is that this guide doesn't start with grammar or vocabulary.
No, it doesn't. It goes somewhere much more foundational.
Right. It starts with what feels like almost just giving yourself permission, explicit permission.
Which is huge.
Yeah. Uses these core affirmations, things like, I can speak slowly. I don't have to rush. Simple stuff.
Deceptively simple, maybe.
Or, I breathe in. I speak out. And it encourages you to say, I will speak with calm, with strength, with patience.
And that last one you mentioned in the prep, my voice matters. My words are enough. That's powerful.
It really is.
And what's so fascinating there, I think, is how it immediately tackles the mental blocks. So many learners get stuck in their heads.
Yeah, the fear.
Exactly. It's not just about learning words. It's the psychology of speaking. Giving yourself that permission to be imperfect, to be patient. It's not just, a nice thought.
It feels like it's doing something more.
It is. It's disarming that fear response, that little voice that tells you not to even try. That's where the real shortcut starts, I think, in the mindset.
That makes a lot of sense. And the guide puts that mindset straight into practice, doesn't it? With that little mini conversation.
The simple dialogue.
Yeah, it suggests repeating this basic exchange. Hi, how are you today? I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Standard greetings.
Totally standard. I'm good too. It's a nice day, isn't it? Yes, it is. I'm happy to practice English today.
But the key is how you practice it.
Right. It's not just saying the words. It's saying it, then saying it again, slower, then more clearly, and then finally more confidently.
So you're embodying those affirmations you just started with, even in this tiny interaction.
Exactly. It's that immediate application. Yeah. So, okay, you've got that permission, that mental space. What's the next step to really, build the confidence actively?
Well, this is where the guide moves into spoken affirmations more deeply.
Right. Repeating specific phrases.
Yes, and the repetition itself is key. It's not just wishful thinking. It's like actively training your brain.
So what kind of phrases are we talking about?
Things like, speaking English gets easier with practice. Or, I can speak English clearly one word at a time.
Okay.
And importantly, acknowledging imperfection. It's okay to make mistakes. I'm learning.
That's a big one for a lot of people.
Huge. And even addressing shyness directly. Even if I'm shy, I can still speak. And the method it suggests is quite specific.
Yeah, repeat slowly 3 times, then faster 2 times.
Exactly. That rhythm, that repetition, it helps embed the idea.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, these aren't just feel-good mantras, are they?
Not at all. You could call it cognitive restructuring, really. By actually speaking these things aloud, you're doing something active. You're helping to rewire your brain's perception of your own ability.
Rewiring.
Right.
I like that.
It's different from just thinking it. Speaking it out loud creates stronger neural pathways. You're changing that internal story, that narrative, from maybe fear or I can't do this to I'm learning, I'm growing, I can do this.
Okay, that's really powerful. But I wonder, is there a risk that just repeating phrases might feel a bit empty for some people? How does it become real confidence?
That's a really fair question, and I think the actionable part is crucial here. It's not just thinking positively. The guide emphasizes the act of speaking these words.
The physical act.
Yes, that verbal affirmation helps solidify things, and it builds on it with that self-talk script.
Ah, yes, the longer one.
Right. Today I am speaking English out loud. I am not silent. And so on. I will say the words even if I make a mistake. I want to grow. I want to learn. I will speak with kindness and courage.
And you say that whole thing, 3 times?
Yeah, starting slowly, then getting more confident, then more fluent each time. It's like building muscle, You can't just think about lifting weights. You have to actually do it. Speaking the words is the action.
Right. Okay, so mindset, affirmations, then we get to clarity. For people who really want to make sure they're understood perfectly.
And the approach here is, again, maybe surprisingly simple, but really effective. The goal is stated as speak slowly and clearly, hear and control every sound.
Hear and control every sound. That sounds intense.
It's about precision.
Yeah.
The guide uses this breakdown technique. Take a simple sentence. I want to learn English.
Okay.
You don't just say it, you break it down. You say, I, pause, want, pause, learn, pause, English.
Wow, word by word.
Exactly. And then after breaking it down, you say the full sentence 5 times.
5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and does the same for another sentence. Speaking helps me improve.
Yep, break it down. Speaking helps me improve. Then say the full sentence 5 times.
So why does that work so well? Why is breaking it down like that so effective?
Good question. It forces you into conscious articulation. You have to think about and form each individual sound, each foam. By slowing it right down, you're building muscle memory for clear speech. It's almost like linguistic physical therapy, making sure each sound is right before you string them together.
Linguistic physical therapy, I like that. So you practice them separately.
And then you put them together. The training suggests practicing both sentences. I want to learn English. Speaking helps me improve. Repeating them together. 3 times slowly, then 3 times at a normal speed.
Ah, so it's a structured buildup. From tiny sounds to flowing sentences.
Precisely. It's very methodical.
Okay, so from that really focused word-by-word thing, the training then smartly shifts into like real-world stuff, right?
Yeah.
With the real-world clarity sentences.
Exactly. Bringing that precision into practical phrases, and the practice method stays consistent.
Slowly, then normally, then confidently.
Got it.
And the phrases themselves are so useful. Things like, I'm learning English step by step.
Okay. Yeah.
Or the crucial ones. Can you please repeat that? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you speak a little slower?
Lifesavers for learners. Absolutely. And polite phrases too. Thank you for your help. That's very kind of you.
And I like the one about embracing the learning process. I'm just beginning, but I enjoy practicing.
Yes. And there are others like, every day I get better at speaking, and I'm not perfect, but I am improving. It acknowledges the journey.
These aren't just random sentences, are they? They're like tools.
Exactly. Tools for managing actual conversations in real time. They reduce anxiety because you know what to say if you get stuck or don't understand.
Takes the pressure off.
Completely. Knowing you can ask for clarification empowers you. It means you can stay in the conversation even when it's tricky.
And there's a reflection piece here too, isn't there? Asking yourself questions about these sentences.
Yes, which is really important. The guide prompts you to think, which of these sentences do I want to remember most? Which was easy for me? Which one was hard?
And crucially,
you say your answers out loud in English.
Right. That immediate application, talking about the learning and the language, that helps lock it in.
And then it flows into the mini dialogues for confidence and clarity, using that repeat after me structure.
Ah, yeah, the example dialogue. Hi, I'm learning English. That's great. How long have you been learning?
Simple, natural exchange.
For about 6 months. I try to practice every day. That's amazing. Your English is very clear. Thank you. I'm working on speaking confidently.
It models a positive interaction.
And the final instruction for that part is key. Say the whole dialogue by yourself, solo, with a calm, confident voice.
Bringing all those elements together, the clarity, the confidence, the flow.
Okay, so flow.
Yeah.
That leads perfectly into building more natural speed and rhythm. The guide calls it slow, normal, fast fluency transitions.
Yeah, this is about bridging the gap between careful practice and sounding natural.
It uses I speak English with confidence as the main example, right?
Yeah.
You say it very slowly, then normal speed, then fast but clear.
Fast but clear. That's the important distinction, not just fast and mumbled.
Right, and you apply the same progression, slow, normal, fast but clear, to other sentences too.
Things like, I speak English clearly. I enjoy speaking English now. Even just, my words matter.
And that one about shyness again. It's okay to feel shy, if I speak anyway. You do each of these 3 times through the speeds.
That's the suggestion. Repeating it helps build that fluidity.
So why is that slow to fast progression so crucial at this stage?
Well, it builds the muscle memory for speed, but without losing the clarity you worked so hard on earlier.
Ah, okay. So you don't sacrifice understanding just to sound faster?
Exactly. It's not about rushing. It's about developing a natural rhythm, a smoothness. That fluidity is a big part of what makes speech sound confident and clear.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Fluidity, not just speed. Okay, so to really nail that down, the training moves into real-life role plays.
Yep. Taking all these skills and applying them to very specific practical situations.
Like in a shop. Practicing things like, excuse me, can you help me?
Standard interaction.
Yeah. I'm looking for a notebook. how much does this cost, and simply, thank you, I appreciate it.
Things you actually need to say.
Or at the doctor's office, which can be stressful for learners.
Definitely.
So practicing, I have an appointment at 10 a.m., I'm not feeling well. Crucially, can you explain what this means?
Empowering phrase right there.
Yeah, and thank you, that was helpful. And the instruction for these role plays is just keep doing it.
Pretty much. Repeat until you feel confident and clear saying those lines in that context. It's about preparation for common scenarios.
Okay, this whole deep dive really feels like it's building towards genuinely owning your voice. And there's a section with some really powerful affirmations specifically for that, right?
Yeah.
Meant to be spoken with real conviction.
Yes, these aren't meant to be mumbled. They're declarations, designed to be felt as you say them.
Like, I don't wait for perfect, I speak anyway. That's a big one.
Huge. Letting go of perfectionism.
Or, I'm allowed to speak slowly. Reinforcing that earlier permission. And even defining confidence itself. Confidence is a skill, I'm building it.
And the practice method here shifts again slightly.
Right, you say each one 5 times, but you vary the volume.
Exactly. First, softly, then using your normal voice, and finally, with your strongest, clearest voice.
So you're physically embodying the confidence.
Precisely. This part really hammers home that confidence isn't just some vague feeling you wait for. It's a skill. You build it actively.
Like practicing scales on an instrument.
Very much so. By consciously playing with your vocal power and conviction as you say these lines, you are literally taking agency over your voice. And that physical act reinforces the mental belief. It's very tangible.
Taking agency over your voice. That's powerful. And for making this a daily habit, there's that extended self-talk confidence practice.
Yes, the immersive one. The guide suggests standing in front of a mirror or maybe walking somewhere quiet.
And speaking this whole script aloud. Today I speak English. I am no longer silent. I am allowed to speak. I am learning.
Keep going.
I will not hide my voice. I will not rush. I will breathe. I will smile. I will speak one word at a time. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be brave.
It covers so many of the core themes.
And the real kicker is the instruction. Repeat it again and again, and feel your words becoming true.
It's about immersion, soaking yourself in that language of confidence until it starts to feel like your default state.
Okay. And then, right at the end, something crucial but maybe easy to skip. Reflection.
Yes, self-assessment, locking in the learning.
The training provides specific statements to say out loud after practicing. Things like, I practiced English today.
Acknowledging the effort.
I trained my voice today. I spoke even when I was nervous. That's a big win to acknowledge.
Absolutely. And every time I practice, I grow stronger.
So this brings up that question again. How do you make sure all this practice actually sticks? How do you internalize it?
Well, this reflection step is key. By actively acknowledging your effort, your progress, even the small wins, like speaking despite being nervous, you reinforce those positive actions.
Creates a positive feedback loop.
Exactly. It builds resilience. It makes you more likely to practice again tomorrow. Each session becomes a concrete building block for that overall confidence.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it finishes with some direct questions for you, the listener, to answer, right?
Yeah.
In English.
Yes. Simple but important ones.
Yeah.
How do I feel after this training? What was easy? What was hard?
And the forward-looking one. How will I continue tomorrow?
Keeps the momentum going.
Yeah.
Ensures it's not just a one-off exercise, but the start of a continuous process.
So if we boil it all down, the big takeaway from this deep dive seems pretty clear. English-speaking confidence, that clarity, it's not just something you passively hope for. It's a skill. Or a set of skills, maybe.
Skills you can intentionally build.
Yeah, through this kind of structured practice, through patience, and crucially, by embracing the fact that you don't have to be perfect.
Absolutely. Remembering that your voice matters, your words are enough right now, even as you're learning.
And it really seems like consistency is key. Just showing up, making those brave attempts, even when you feel shy. That's what drives the progress.
Every single word you speak out loud is a step. It's a tangible move towards really owning that voice.
So here's a final thought for you to consider, something to mull over. What if the biggest thing holding back your English-speaking confidence isn't your grammar, isn't your vocabulary size? What if it's simply about giving yourself permission? Permission to be brave, one slow, clear word at a time.
That's a powerful question to sit with.
Definitely something to think about. So keep practicing, keep exploring these ideas, and keep working towards owning your English voice. Have you ever felt that spark, that desire to speak English, not just correctly, but with real confidence? with clarity. It's more than just knowing the words, isn't it? It's really about finding your voice, like expressing yourself without holding back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So today we're doing a deep dive into something called the Fluent English Speaking Blueprint. It's this comprehensive guide designed to help you unlock exactly that power.
Right. And our mission today really is to pull out the most actionable stuff, the best strategies, and those powerful mindset shifts from this blueprint.
Yeah, okay.
We want to show you how it goes way beyond just vocab and grammar. It's aiming to build like true speaking ability, impactful ability.
From hesitant to articulate, you mean?
Exactly. That's the goal this program seems to have, transforming that approach.
And what I find really interesting is how it mixes, very practical, almost physical drills with some surprisingly deep psychological techniques.
Yeah.
It seems to get that fluency isn't just what you say,
right,
but how you feel when you're saying it. That's kind of key, isn't it?
It really is. It connects the inner and the outer.
Okay, so let's unpack this. It kicks off, maybe surprisingly, with mindset.
Yeah.
Emphasizing speaking aloud right from the get-go.
Yeah, day one.
And a big part of this initial work is around daily speaking mantras. We're talking short, powerful phrases. Things like, I don't have to be perfect to speak English. Or, my voice matters. My English voice matters.
Simple but powerful.
Yeah, and the blueprint actually guides you to repeat them. First slowly, then kind of more confidently, and then even louder.
And the real genius there, I think, isn't just the words themselves, it's the effect they're going for.
Which is?
They're tools, basically, for rewiring your self-perception before you even get into tricky situations. Preemptive confidence building.
Oh.
The blueprint seems to understand that confidence isn't about perfect grammar initially. It's forged in that deliberate, repeated belief in your own voice.
Even before you say much in a real conversation.
Exactly.
Right.
Building the internal belief first.
So for you listening, just think about that. How could this simple act, repeating these phrases, start to shift your inner dialogue about speaking English? It's a powerful place to start.
Definitely.
Okay, so from that inner world, the mindset stuff.
Yeah.
The blueprint pivots to the physical side of speaking. Section 2 hits voice warm-ups and pronunciation drills hard. It's like a 45-minute segment.
Right. Training the tools.
Exactly. Training your mouth, lips, tongue, even your breath. It starts with breathing and speaking connection exercises.
Okay.
Like consciously breathing in, and then as you breathe out, saying something like, I am calm, I can speak clearly, or one word, one breath.
And repeating those.
Yeah, 5 times each, it suggests. It's about forging that link, that connection between breath and voice.
And that connection is just, it's fundamental. It's the anchor, really.
You think so?
Absolutely. The blueprint totally nails this. Breath controls clarity. It controls calm. It grounds your voice so words land with intention. They don't just tumble out.
Right. Not just for English, I suppose.
Not at all. Any clear communication relies on that breath support.
Okay, makes sense. So after breath, it moves into specific vowel and consonant drills.
Getting granular.
Yeah. For vowel clarity, it's about practicing each sound slowly. Like the A in cat, E in bed.
Oscillating them.
Right. Then using them in simple words like apple, egg, in, on, under. Again, slowly, 5 times.
And consonants too.
Yep. It focuses on pairs that often cause trouble for learners. Things like P versus B, so pop and big. Or T versus D, like top and dog. Or F and V, fun, van.
Get that muscle memory down.
Exactly. It says practice them slowly, maybe 3 to 5 times, until they feel clear and easy.
And the brilliance of these drills, these specific ones, is how they hit 2 targets.
Okay.
1, they directly boost how well people understand you, your intelligibility.
Right.
And 2, they actually reduce that self-consciousness when the physical act of making the sounds becomes more automatic.
Less daunting.
Precisely. It frees up your brain. You can focus on what you want to say, not stumble over how to form the words.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so then section 3. This where it gets really interesting, I think. Speaking with calm clarity, the slow method.
Right.
A whole 60 minutes dedicated to slowing down, which feels totally counterintuitive if your goal is fluency, right?
It does seem that way at first, but this is where the blueprint offers that core insight. Clarity creates confidence.
Clarity creates confidence.
Yeah,
Okay.
when you deliberately slow down, you give yourself space for better articulation, more precise mouth movements, and crucially, more time for your brain to process thoughts. It fights that internal pressure to rush.
Which, rushing often leads to more mistakes and feeling even more nervous.
Exactly, breaks that cycle.
And it gives concrete examples of this word-by-word practice, like consciously saying, I can speak English.
Very deliberate.
Or speaking slowly helps. Then you build up to full sentences, but keeping that slow, controlled pace. Sentences like, I can speak English clearly, or even if I make mistakes, I will speak.
Still slow and controlled.
Yes. But then it adds another layer, an advanced technique.
Oh.
Repeating those same sentences 3 times, but with different emotions.
Ah, interesting.
First calm, then confident, then bold.
Okay, I like that. That's smart because it's integrating emotional intelligence.
How so?
Well, it's moving beyond just the mechanics. It's about the feeling behind the words. Real-life conversations aren't monotone, right?
Sure.
Practicing with different emotions prepares you for that variety. Tone, intent, nuance, they're just as important as grammar.
Right. Gets you ready for different situations. Okay, so we've built the mindset, worked on the physical mechanics, embraced slowing down. Now applying it.
Putting it into practice.
Exactly. The daily English speaking challenges. This section is over 90 minutes of material designed for this purpose.
Okay.
Structured practice for common interactions. And the instruction is key. Repeat them slowly, clearly, aiming for fluency through clarity.
Got it. Like what kind of challenges?
Things like confidently introducing yourself. My name is, I come from, I'm learning English because, that sort of thing.
The basics, but practiced deliberately.
Yes. Or describing your day. I woke up at, I ate, today I want to. Even asking and answering simple questions.
Right.
What time is it?
Yeah.
Where is the restroom? Can you help me, please? You know, those essential phrases.
And these structured challenges, they act like scaffolding, really.
Scaffolding.
Yeah, for real-world interactions, you practice these common bits over and over in context.
So they become automatic.
Exactly. It lowers the cognitive load when you're actually talking to someone. Your brain isn't scrambling for basic phrases. It can focus on the actual conversation.
Right. That makes sense. And building on that, there's role plays for real-life situations.
Okay.
Another big section.
Acting it out.
Yeah. The blueprint emphasizes practicing like an actor. Using emotion, using tone, really getting into the role.
Not just reading lines.
No. Like imagine a scenario. In a store, you practice being the customer asking for, say, a phone charger. And then, this is key, you switch roles. You practice being the store worker giving directions over there on the right.
Practicing both sides.
Yes. Or another one, at the doctor. You practice being the patient explaining symptoms, then the doctor asking questions.
Yeah.
The advice is always, practice both roles.
And practicing both roles is incredibly powerful. It builds versatility because it forces you to think ahead, to anticipate responses. You start to understand the flow of a conversation from multiple angles.
Not just your own line.
Exactly. It builds genuine conversational readiness. It's way beyond just practicing a monologue.
Gotcha. Okay, so role plays help with interaction. Then, to really boost fluency, the blueprint uses build fluency with story retelling.
Story retelling, okay.
Yeah, 45-minute section. It uses a hear, repeat, tell the story method. Designed to train your brain for more natural expression, more flow.
Yeah, you listen to a story first.
Exactly. Like a short, simple one. The example given is, today I went to the market, I bought apples and bread, it was sunny, I smiled at the cashier, I said, have a nice day.
Okay, pretty straightforward.
Then the steps are clear. First, just repeat it slowly, word for word. Then, try to say it from memory.
Right.
Next step, you add your own details, like I walked there, I saw a dog, I paid with cash. Make it a bit richer.
Personalizing it.
Yeah. And finally, the real stretch.
Yeah.
Tell the same basic story, but first in the past tense, which it already is.
Right.
And then retell it, imagining it happening in the future.
Playing with tenses. That's clever.
So what's the benefit of that whole process?
Well, retelling stories is fantastic for helping you organize your thoughts naturally.
Okay.
It expands your vocabulary, but in context, which is how we learn best. And it builds narrative fluency, the ability to connect ideas smoothly.
So moving beyond just single sentences.
Exactly. It's a big leap towards sounding more natural, painting a picture with your words.
Okay. Now, looping back to the inner game, the confidence part.
Always comes back to that, doesn't it?
It seems to. There's a section on self-taught confidence coaching, specifically using mirror work. 30 minutes.
Mirror work. Okay, tell me more.
The instruction is literally stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and speak aloud.
Okay.
It gives you these powerful coaching lines to say to yourself. Things like, you're doing great, or it's okay to feel nervous.
Affirmations.
Yeah, you're strong, you're brave. Every word you say is powerful. Keep speaking, keep trying.
Speaking positivity to yourself.
And then it gets even more personal. You use your own name.
Oh, wow.
Your name can speak English, or
Yeah.
your name, your voice matters. Your name. You don't have to be perfect to speak confidently.
The saying your own name makes it hit different, doesn't it?
Seems like it. The advice is repeat these 3 times daily.
And the impact of mirror work, psychologically, it's pretty profound. You're combining that self-affirmation with direct visual feedback.
Seeing yourself say it.
Exactly. It connects directly back to that initial mindset work we talked about. You're essentially building your own internal support system. You become your own coach.
Your own advocate. Wow. Okay, and then to tackle that big one, nervousness.
Ah, yes, the elephant in the room for many learners.
Right. There's a specific mindset, reset, how to stop feeling nervous section. About 20 minutes.
Okay, what's the technique?
It involves repeating key phrases again, like, nervous is okay. Nervous means I care.
Reframing it.
Yeah. Or, everyone feels fear, but I still speak. And this one, confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to speak anyway.
Choosing action over paralysis.
Right. I choose progress over perfection. I choose to speak now.
Powerful statements.
And here's a unique bit of advice. Whisper them first.
Whisper.
Yeah, whisper them, then speak them loudly. The idea is to let the words, the physical act of saying them louder, actually shift your feeling of confidence.
That's fascinating, using the voice to change the feeling. And it underlines such a crucial point. Fear is normal.
Right. It's part of growth.
Exactly. This blueprint isn't promising to magically erase fear. It's giving you tools to act despite the fear.
Which feels more realistic.
Much more. And reframing nerves as caring instead of weakness. That's a really empowering psychological shift right there.
Okay, so you've done the mindset, the drills, the practice, the self-talk. How do you keep it going? Avoid plateauing.
Long-term growth. Yes.
The blueprint strongly emphasizes tracking progress. It suggests daily self-reflection questions.
Like a journal.
Kind of simple questions like, did I speak today? What did I say? How did I feel? And importantly, what was better than yesterday?
Focusing on improvement.
Yeah. Track it in a notebook, on your phone, whatever works.
And that daily check-in, that builds crucial self-awareness.
You think that's important?
Absolutely vital. It makes you consciously recognize the small wins. You see the progress, which fights burnout and reinforces the good habits. It makes learning a continuous, mindful process.
Celebrating small victories.
Yeah.
And then there's a weekly practice, too.
Oh, yeah.
Recording a voice message every 7 days.
Hearing yourself.
Exactly. And there's specific prompts for it. This week I said, I improved in Y, and next week I will focus on Cray.
That's really structured reflection. And using voice recording, that gives you concrete proof of progress, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can literally hear the difference over time.
Right. Undeniable evidence. Plus, it helps you consciously decide your focus for the next week. It closes that loop for continuous improvement, makes the learning really self-directed.
Measurable.
Exactly.
So, wow, we've really walked through this fluent English-speaking blueprint. From like the deep mindset work and the physical warm-ups, through all that real-life practice, the role plays, the daily challenges, even storytelling.
Right.
All the way back to self-talk in the mirror and tracking your journey. It really feels like a comprehensive, holistic approach.
It absolutely is. It's about building confidence in communication, not just learning language facts.
Right. Far beyond just vocabulary lists.
Definitely. And if you zoom out a bit, this blueprint, it's not just about English, is it?
How do you mean?
Well, it's a model for building confidence and skill in pretty much any area where you feel uncertain. It shows how combining practical, consistent training with these powerful psychological tools can work. It's about mastering yourself just as much as mastering the skill.
That's a great point. Mastering yourself. Okay, so let's leave our listeners with a thought then. Considering how this blueprint tackles things like imperfection and fear head on to build speaking confidence, how might applying those same principles, embracing imperfection, acting even when you're nervous, taking those consistent small steps, how might that transform an area of your life where you maybe feel a bit held back right now?
Something to think about.